folks, now here's a story about Minnie the Moocher. She was a red-hot hoochie coocher. She was the roughest, toughest frail.
Okay, I want to start now immediately with a definition. I'm going to tell you. A script is what a character wants and how he or she overcomes obstacles to get it. A script is what a character wants and how he or she overcomes obstacles to get it. Like I repeated it twice, so I'm not going to write it down. You can write it down. You got a pen, find a pen, write it down. And if your script doesn't have that, if you can't sort of boil it down to a script is what a character wants and how he or she overcomes obstacles to get it, then this is what I suggest you do. You take the script like this and you throw it here into the bin. Into the bin, throw it, maybe even stamp on it. I'm not sure. It's not going to work. That's what a script is. This film is about me getting you to write your script and overcoming the obstacles that you're going to come across to do that. And the obstacles basically are you. You are your own obstacle. Yup, that's it. You are your own obstacle in writing your script. That's my quest. I'm the protagonist of this particular film, and my quest is to overcome you, the obstacle in writing your script. So it's we're in a postmodern thing here.
Minnie had a heart as big as the whale.
So I'm going to give you 32 laws on how to script write, and you can write it down. What are you illiterate? Write it down. Do I have to do all the work for you? So you're sitting down and you're listening. We're going to start now. Okay, number one, in each and every scene that you've got in your particular script, there must be conflict. There's got to be conflict in each and every scene. And you're going to come back to me, you're going to be like an obstacle. You're going to say, oh, but I saw this film and there was no conflict. And I'm going to say to you, thank God this is not a two-way thing and that it's me talking and you have to listen. Because yes, everything is possible in life. Like there's an infinite, you can do anything. You can do a film like this, so you can do anything. But there's going to be conflict. Already you're giving me a headache by arguing with me. Don't argue. Just listen for a little bit. And the other thing, number two, already on to number two. See how quickly we're going here. Characters, they must want something in each scene. So they've got to want something. They've got to want to be King of England. The character has to want, for instance, to avenge the death of his father. The character has to want like a red dress that's in the window. A character has to want a boyfriend or a girlfriend or a true love. A character has to want a lost dog. A character has to want this bone. A character, anything. They just got to want something. They got to want to find inner peace. That would be nice. Something zen. Characters to want zen. I'm going to think about that for a minute. I'm going to get zen now. I'm zen for a minute. Okay, I'm back. Okay, so I wanted zen. I found zen. I suggest you find zen. It's inside you. Characters, they have to be in charge of their own destiny. Okay, now what do I mean when I say that? Who knows what I mean? No, I know what I mean. The character's got to be in charge of their own destiny. In other words, it's not you as the writer making the character want something. It's the character has to want something. You've got to become the character, and then you've got to really want it. Like you really got to want true love if you want true love, if that's what your script is about. Or you really want have to kill the white witch there in Narnia. You have to want that to be king of Narnia. It's not from the outside. It's not from the script writer. They've got to, the characters themselves. They've got to be in charge of their own destiny. They've got to be like 360-degree characters. So they've got to have doubts and all sorts of things. They're fantastic. I love characters. I think I love characters most of all, more than anything else. See this character? I love him. He's great.
She messed around with a bloke named Smokey.
Now, immediately I'm going to go here to another one. I'm going to say, don't neglect irony. What am I talking by that? Okay, there's Greek tragic irony, which is fantastic if you can do that. You know, let me give you a kiss like this. Greek tragic irony is like Oedipus Rex, where the audience knows he's the one who killed his father and married his mother already, but he doesn't know it. So it's so ironic, everything he's doing. But other irony is like, the character does one thing and says another. That's sort of ironic, or you're looking at something, you're thinking about, did I leave the iron on at home? Which is probably in your mind something very banal and boring. I'm imagining that. Are you with me here?
She loved him though he was cocky.
Okay, next is characters rarely speak the subtext. He's got this gun. The guy's got a gun, and what he says to you is "good morning" with the gun at you. Now, he doesn't really mean good morning. He means probably bad morning. He means I'm going to kill you with that gun pointed at you just like this. But he doesn't say it. So he's not saying his subtext, which is I want to kill you and murder you. He's saying good morning. Terrific good morning, that is. More sort of a Magritte thing, ceci n'est pas pipe. Something Magritte, something surrealistic. Though sometimes good morning can just be good morning.
Took her down to Chinatown. He showed her how to kick the gong around.
Use your kinesthetic. That means be in the scene. In other words, imagine the scene. Look here, you're in the scene. Look at the chair. It's this chair, very interesting chair. It's got all these stripes on it. It's like an animal skin. Who sits on this chair? The king of Zambia sits in this chair. Where's Zambia? I don't know where Zambia is. Go look at the cupboard here. This cupboard is a very lovely cupboard. It must have cost a lot of money. Maybe it didn't. Maybe it was an heirloom. Have a look at it closely. Walnut burr. Very nice. I'm in the scene here. I'm looking around. Who lives in this place? So my character is in the correct place that they're in. Very important that. So in other words, whatever you are, if your character is in an oil refinery, go to the oil refinery, be in the oil refinery, feel the oil refinery, refine oil. Everything possible to get the verisimilitude of the character in their particular context. So it's the kinesthetic. How would he feel in that? How would he or she feel? How would they walk around? Would they walk around? Would they run? How do they walk? In this particular room, is there a slope in this hill? If they're sitting on a hill, what's the view from the window? It's that view. It's not bad. It's okay. It's $1 million view, or is it like this brick wall, which would be inside some sort of slum, like what that guy, you see that guy? He's in his kinesthetic. So be in the correct environment. Did you write it down? Let me check. Show it to me. You didn't spell kinesthetic correctly. I'm not going to spell it for you. Look it up. Wikipedia it. I don't know, something like that. Minutiae means something. Minutiae. That's M-I-N-U-T-I-A-E. I didn't say minutiae. Minutiae. I think that's how it's pronounced. If I'm wrong, too bad. It's me. I'm saying it. Now it's pronounced that way. Minutiae means something. The details, they make the scene. Look at this. Look at this detail. Look at this. This nail. No, it's not a nail. It's not a nail. It's a screw. Look at this screw. Have a look at it. Zoom in on the screw. Yep. Okay. Look at the screw. So that screw means something. Maybe the screw fell out of this door and the door's next going to fall onto someone. So the minutiae are very important. So concentrate on minutiae. In other words, the details in a scene, or what the person does very detailedly, or how he speaks, or everything's got to be so correct. The minutiae, look at this person, everything is so correct on him. Doesn't mean what I'm saying. Doesn't matter, go with me here. It's the minutiae of the scene are absolutely right. So if your character highfalutin educated, they'll talk about James Joyce and Ulysses and collective unconscious, and if your character works in a coal mine, they'll talk about getting the next beer after work, I suppose, and coal. I'll have to go to a coal mine, do more research on that. See? Know what your character desires and fears most. And you've got to know what you desire and fear most as well. But that's another story. But now we're talking about your character. See this character here, what does he desire? He desires love. And what does he fear? He fears that he'll be alone all his life, which is to do with his desire. Sometimes they're the same. They're the flip side of the same thing. See this character here, what does he desire? He desires to kill the enemy. And what does he fear? He fears losing the battle. People have desires and fears, and that's really important. You know what they are for each and every character. Surprise is important. Ta-da! Were you surprised? Ha-ha! You see, it's important. It keeps people interested. So when you're doing your script, don't make it predictable. Throw in a surprise. Comedy's very good for that. So throw in a surprise. Sex is good for that. Sex is always surprising, in my life anyway. God knows in your life. Who knows? Probably surprising in your life as well. Each character's got their own point of view. Identify their attitude to the things that happen. So if something happens, it's like Rashomon. Every character's got their own viewpoint on what happened. In a murder, the murderer's going to say, oh, okay, it was self-defense. The dead person's not going to say anything because they're dead. They've got no viewpoint. But let's say the spouse of the dead person, this woman here, she's going to burst into tears and she's going to say, it was murder in the first degree. And the judge is going to think about what he had for dinner last night. That's what his point of view is. Maybe he's bored. It's his millionth murder trial. He's not interested anymore. He's interested in retiring in the Caribbean, in Acapulco. That's what the judge is thinking about it. You know, many things you've got to think about. In each character, they've got their own point of view.
He gave his townhouse and his racing horses. Yeah. Each meal she ate was a dozen courses.
Often characters, they've got illusions about themselves. In other words, you've got illusions about yourself without a question. Look, you're probably, what are you, a waiter? Maybe you're a doctor, maybe you're a cab driver, a janitor, and you've got illusions. You think you're a script writer. You've got a script in you. So that's your illusion. So let's say the match girl wants to be the princess. You think the little loser he thinks he's the most handsome womanizer in town. That's what he thinks.
She had $1 million with a nickel and dime. She sat around and counted them all $1 million times.
Characters don't always tell the truth. They may hide things or they may lie. It makes it interesting. In other words, if a character is always telling you exactly what they're doing and it's the truth, it's really boring. Characters are lying and conniving and manipulating, just like you are. Yeah, exactly like you. See this guy here, lying, conniving, manipulating as we speak. See this woman here, exactly the same. So that makes the person interesting. It's also a very human trait. So just accept that, and accept that for your characters as well. Where is each character's anger? Okay, this is what I'm going to talk about therapy here now, because I want you to book into therapy or something. I want you to know the dark spot inside you, the spot where you've got your blindness, is where you're going to have trouble with each and every one of your characters. If you've got like hidden anger that you're not in contact with, that it's suppressed, your characters will either have hidden anger or they'll be too angry. They'll go crazy angry. In other words, it's not in balance, it's not in control. So the blind spot inside you is going to be the blind spot of your script and your characters. Now, that's a therapeutic sort of thing. And again, you're a real big obstacle in your own script writing here. So the best sort of script writer is going to have a great knowledge of himself and not be scared of his dark areas. The shadow, as Jung said, hello Jung, you've made an appearance. So look into your shadow and name it and claim it. Yes, name and claim your shadow, and then your characters will be three-dimensional. They won't be two-dimensional characters because you won't be a two-dimensional character. This character is two-dimensional. Okay, does that make sense? Are you booked into therapy? Just get off, turn this off and just make an appointment now. Or maybe you've had therapy, or maybe you're just a three-dimensional person who's 360 degrees and you've embraced your own shadow. And read Jung if you don't know what I'm talking about. Characters are only human. They make mistakes. What I'm trying to do is give you realistic characters in this particular thing. In other words, your character doesn't always do the right thing that's perfect. they're gonna like make mistakes. This gives a real veracity. Like, look at this guy. He's made a mistake. It's a big mistake, but nevertheless, it's a mistake. And it's interesting. It makes him interesting as a character because we all make mistakes and we can relate with characters who make mistakes. Characters who are perfect are really annoying. That's why Clark Kent was really good. See, Clark Kent? He makes a lot of mistakes. He mumbles, all sorts of things. But Superman doesn't make mistakes. But at least Clark Kent does. So, or Superman occasionally makes a mistake. Look, I'm not going to actually go into this. You make mistakes. I'm sure you make mistakes. I know you make mistakes. Don't pretend you don't. So your characters have to also make mistakes, okay? So they've got to get up off the chair. They think, I don't want to get off this chair. I want to go back on the chair. I made a mistake by thinking I wanted to get up off the chair. I was wrong. That's a mistake. Okay? It makes your character very realistic.
Folks, I'm going down to St. James Infirmary. See my baby there.
Set up, feed, and pay off later. That's the rule of the threes. That's like a joke. And you've got to set something up in the scene. Like, in other words, you've got to, let's say the guy finds something. He finds this wonderful apple and he carries it in his pocket and he tries to give it to all these people. But eventually he gives it to this girl who takes it, and that's the girl of his dreams. That's so lame, but I don't care. I made it up, and just go with me on this. But you can think of much cleverer things because you're much cleverer than I am. So immediately you'll think of cleverer things, and you'll put them in your scripts. So set the thing up, then feed it, and then pay it off. The stakes should be very high for the character. In other words, it should be life and death. For instance, should I save this woman and risk my own life? That's a high stake. See this woman falling off the bridge. Should I go and I swim in the raging torrent like this and dive in and save her? Should I do that? Tell me, should I? I can't hear you. Would you do that? You probably wouldn't. You're sitting here, you're not doing anything, you're having a cup of coffee. But should I do that? The stakes are high. I can't swim. I might sink like a stone. I can swim really, but not that well. But still, should I do it because of the humanity? It's all difficult to know. The stakes are high. That makes it very interesting. So life and death are good stakes. Saving the future of planet Earth is good. That's great. That's a high stake. Saving the universe, that's a great high stake. Saving someone you love, Sophie's Choice. For something serious, that's a very high stakes. You have to choose between one of her kids, so that's very high stakes. The people that you love. Choosing what red dress to wear to the ball, less high stakes, though maybe you think they're very high stakes. You see, this is where you become your own obstacle again.
Let her go, oh bless her, wherever she may be.
So now we're on to number 17, because I leapt to number 17 because I think it's a very important thing that you should know about. There are 3 conflicts that are possible in script writing, okay? So I want you to know that there are 3 conflicts that are possible, and these are the 3 conflicts. Conflicts are so important in drama. If you don't have conflict, you're writing a poem, which is a lovely thing to write, or a song, or something, or a book. They're wonderful, don't get me wrong. I love poetry and I love songs and all sorts of things, but you're not writing a dramatic script, okay? So just be aware of that. So if you look into your script and there's no conflict here, there's nothing excitingly conflictual happening, whether it's, as I will explain now, throw away your script, like at the beginning, like I showed you. Throw it away now if there's no conflict. Add conflict. There are 3 conflicts possible. Global, with the world. In other words, if there's like a hurricane, you're fighting the hurricane to survive. That's so exciting. I'm excited thinking about it. Or you're fighting at the end of the world and it's a frozen global climate change. You're fighting global climate change. Or there's an asteroid coming towards Earth and it's going to destroy Earth. So all those sort of big, huge things. Volcanoes exploding, my favorite. That's global. The second one is local conflict. So that's conflict between 2 people. And you know that. That's the conflict you've got with your mother, the conflict you've got with your father, the conflict you've got with your teacher, the conflict you've got with your siblings, your brother and your sister. Have a look, they're fighting. There's a lot of conflict, local conflict you have with your spouse. Let me tell you, conflict you've got with the person down the street, the neighbor, that conflict. Heaps of conflict, local conflicts between two people. That's really important, or two groups of people, okay? That's local sort of conflict. It could also be a volcano exploding, because as you know, that's my favorite, while there's conflict with your neighbor. Wow, how exciting is that? Okay, so, but the next one, the third one is, this is the third one, are you ready? Inner conflict, that's conflict with oneself. That's Hamlet in Should I Avenge the Death of My Father just because the ghost told me to be or not to be? You know, it's like that inner sort of stuff. It's in A Beautiful Mind, that's when he's got all that inner conflict. Am I going crazy or am I sane? He went crazy. So inner conflict is conflict with yourself. It's a moral dilemma is often that. Should I save the universe or should I make a lot of money in this corporate job? You know, I've got an inner conflict. I can't sleep at night. A lot of people got that inner conflict. And you all know what they choose. That's life, though. Okay, so, but not in this film. Maybe not in your film. Don't be your own obstacle.
She will search this wide world, but she never find a sweet man like me. Now when I die, that means my
okay. Characters are not dumb. They think like you and I. And maybe we're dumb, so our characters are dumb. But don't make your character, give your characters some smartness. Make them smart. Don't make them dumb. Even if a character is unintelligent, he never on purpose is dumb. People always try to be as smart as they can be in a script. Okay, so let's say you go for a cheap dumb character. It's possible, but the character himself would not think he's dumb. Know that. Or if he does know that he's dumb, he's not as dumb as you think. He's self-aware. It's a very smarter character.
Put on a box back coat and a stuff in the hand. Put a $20 gold piece on my watch so you can let all the boys know I died standing fast.
Let's get off that and go on to characters like to talk about themselves, the I factor. That's just one really good way of telling a person, telling your viewer just stuff. Like stuff that they need to know. I sat here and I ate this cheese and tomato sandwich and then this girl came and I wanted to ask her out because she was beautiful. I didn't have enough courage and so I dropped my cheese and tomato sandwich and she just walked off. Yeah, that tells you a lot about me. Yeah, okay, maybe that tells you too much information about me. But, okay, we're going to go on now.
Then give me 6 rap shooting pallbearers. Let a chorus girl sing me a song.
This is what Charles Dickens said. He said, make them laugh, make them cry, make them wait. Don't tell everyone everything all at once. Time-based art. Go and do some art theory here. It's time-based art. Film is time-based art, so it's got to be timed. You can't tell everything all at once, like the explosion of the creation of the universe, like this, everything happened all at once. It'd be great in a script just to have variety, make them laugh. That's what that means. So there's comedy and there's make them cry, there's something a bit sad, and make them wait for the end, make them wait for everything, because the audience loves the tension. They love it. I love it. You love it. We all love tension. We're all tense. No, that's what a film is, basically. A film is tension over time. If you do a graph like this, have a look at this graph. You see this graph? Okay, fear and tension over on time. This is how it's going to look like. This is how a script is going to look. You see that? That's how immediately we've got into higher maths to analyze our script. So your script over time, people have to wait before the payoff, before the ending, obviously, but also before, if you create a tense situation, don't pay it off immediately. String it out, make them wait over time, and the audience will thank you. They'll kiss you like this. Well, maybe not. Okay, so if you studied that mathematically, good. You know calculus? You're going to have to use calculus on this. Okay, I'm going to get off calculus and back onto script writing. Okay, set the stakes up at the start, and you're going to, your own greatest obstacle, you're going to say to me, no, I want it to be all, I don't want people to know where this is going. I want to be hoodoo, voodoo, schmoodoo. No one knows what's going on. Forget it, it's boring. Don't do it. Set up. This is a story about a guy avenging the death of someone. This is a story about a guy wanting to be king of England. This is a story about pirates wanting to find treasure. That's it. It's clear. You're following the story. You know where you're at. Not something hoodoo. What is it? You can do that other one. Don't get me wrong. There's all place for that. But I'm talking here about classical script writing here, okay? Classical storytelling. You can do the other one, and don't get all upset if that's what you do. Don't burst into tears. Stop bursting. Get the handkerchief. Wipe those tears off. Yes, now.
Folks, now that you have heard my story, hey boy, hand me over another shot of that.
Externalize, dramatize, and use props. The character, when you're thinking about your character in your scene, what they would pick up or what they would be doing. Would the character be doing origami, perhaps? That's what they do while they're talking about plotting a murder. They do origami. It's possible. So do they do that? Does your character knit? Perhaps your character knits. Yes. That's what they do. They knit.
If anyone should ask, tell them I got those St. James in too.
Remember class, believability, and style. That's my own subjective taste. And I like classy things, and I like believability in plots, and I like style. So keep it classy. I feel I know what classy is. And maybe, you know, in this one I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. You do what you think is classy for yourself. Generous of me here. Your own obstacle. I took away one obstacle.
The fairest in the land.
Characters must speak the truth and they must confront. So at certain points in the script, it's very dramatic when the character does speak their inner truth. In other words, if a character says to the person they're going to murder, I want to murder you. Well, actually, that would take away the murdering impulse, wouldn't it? I want to murder you, but I can't do it. That's sort of interesting. Think about that. Think about characters speaking whatever their truth is and confronting someone, because that changes your script and it makes it quite interesting. It can take you to another place. Use what is in the script to build on it. So in other words, if you've set up that there's a wonderful, they live in this terrific mansion here, this terrific castle-y type wonderful thing, use that maybe someone at the end falls off the turret from there, something like that, or the drawbridge lands on their toe, something. Utilize what's in your particular script. So you've created a world, utilize everything in your world is what I'm actually saying there. Words are not always necessary, even though you can't tell that by this particular film because it appears that words are only necessary. But words are not always necessary. In other words, sometimes... Did you see that? No words whatsoever. But yet it told you something. What did it tell you? Tell me later. Okay. So you don't always have to have dialogue, wall-to-wall dialogue, though I like wall-to-wall dialogue myself, as you can tell. Use dialogue to form word pictures. Analogies may help. As pretty as a picture. He was no oil painting. Things like that. So when you talk dialogue, what I'm saying is actually make your dialogue interesting. Characters may question the plot and each other's motives. You know, why are you doing that? Is always quite interesting because then the character has to the other character has to justify themselves. So it's a good thing. Why are you doing that? Rather than let the character do everything without being questioned. Or they may even question themselves. Why am I doing this? Because I'm schizophrenic and psychotic. Why am I doing this? Whole film. Same reason. I'm schizophrenic and I'm psychotic. Oh yeah, Another very important thing is that assertive, proactive characters are dramatic characters. Your characters have to be assertive. They've got to be proactive. They've got to want something. They've got to be like heroes in a way. That's really important. If you've got a passive character, it's not going to work. Even a passive character, like let's say a Woody Allen character, it appears to be passive, but he's very proactive. He goes out and he searches for things, and he does it. He does things. A passive character, you can fall in love with them like a kitten or something, but they're not really for a dramatic script. So if you've got a passive character, you see what I did at the beginning with that, throw it in the bin. There it goes, in the bin. In the script, make it very difficult for the characters. That's so important. Don't make it easy. In other words, someone wants to climb Mount Everest. They don't just get some 7-league boots and that's it. I'm now on top of Mount Everest. No, it's arduous, and they've got to they freeze to death, and it's cold, and they run out of food. And the more difficult you can make it, the more obstacles you can put in, the more interesting your script's going to be. Make it very, very difficult. Life and death. That's again goes back to stakes. In other words, the more difficult it is, the more the audience will thank you. Though audiences are generally thankless, but doesn't matter. They will thank you inside. Characters can be self-aware. In other words, like I said before, the character is dumb. He could know he's dumb, which makes him really likable. A guy who knows he's dumb, he accepts self-acceptance of your dumbness. I've accepted that a long time ago. Or self-acceptance of your, let's say you look like this. Well, you've got to accept that. You're self-aware.
Long white beard and a crooked stare, tramps along with the folks all scared, with a nickel in his eye.
And finally, one of the most important thing is remember to breathe. Back to Zen now. Remember to breathe, because you're doing your best. You will no longer be your own obstacle to writing a great script.
He's mad as a green. His hair's none and he fears no one. The old man hung from the mountain. He talks with the best when he's lonely. Leaves the sky for a tent. Beats you up when he's hungry. And it costs him a rent. And he'll live as long as an old